Hi everyone! The topic that we will be presenting today is Malaysian legal system. Our daily lives and activities are governed and affected by the law. It governs the conduct of all individuals within society. To break the law holds even severe consequences than breaking rules. Law consists of body of rules imposed on a person, enforced by the state, adjudicated by the judiciary, and is subjected to sanctions. The legal system of the world are classified into three. The Malaysian legal system falls under the common law system. Legislations are law made and enacted by Parliament. Judiciary, on the other hand, is a court system, while executives implements the law passed by legislature. There are three broad divisions of the law: public law, international law, and private law. Public law refers to the relationship between the state and its citizen. There are two categories of public law: constitutional and administrative law. It deals with public rights and any disputes over constitutional matters. Criminal law. Government will give actions towards the accused. Criminal law protects the public and the state. Private law is also called civil law, which is part of the common law system. It involves interaction between private citizens. Private law is mainly concerned with the rights and duties of individuals towards each other and is often contrasted with criminal law. The state's involvement is limited to providing a civilized method of resolving the disagreement that has arisen. These are some of the examples of private law. Next up, we have the Federal Constitution. The Federal Constitution is the supreme law of Malaysia. Any law passed must be consistent with the Federal Constitution. Article 4 of the Federal Constitution states that this Constitution is the supreme law of the Federation, and any law passed after Merdeka Day which is inconsistent with the Constitution shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be void. To ensure that the Federal Constitution is not easily amended, a special majority of 2/3 of members in the legislature is required for an amendment. Each of the 13 states of Malaysia has its own state constitutions. It contains provisions pertaining to state matters as provided under the Federal Constitution. The state constitutions deal largely with land matters, agriculture, forestry, local government, and Islamic law. Legislations are laws passed by Parliament as well as the state legislative assemblies since 1957. Laws passed after Malaya's independence are called acts, while those passed by the state legislative assemblies are called enactments. The laws passed in Sabah and Sarawak are called ordinance. Laws made under power delegated by the Parliament called subsidiary legislation, or subordinate legislation, or delegated legislation. Legislation is relevant to Law of Engineers, Contract Act 1950, Companies Act 2016, Registration of Engineers Act 1967, and Employment Act 1955. Subsidiary legislations are enacted by persons or bodies to whom the power is delegated. For example, Yang di-Pertuan Agong, ministers, and local government authorities. Detailed and technical matters is handled by the subsidiary legislation when the Parliament enacts the main and basic law, due to time constraints and lack of technical knowledge. The subsidiary legislation cannot contravene the Parent Act or the Federal Constitution. Unwritten laws are laws which are not in Federal Constitution or made by the Parliament or State Legislative Assembly. Case law is also part of unwritten laws. Case law is the law established by the outcome of previous cases. It acts as precedent and can be related to similar situations that occur. There are 4 types of unwritten law: English common law and rules of equity, judicial decisions and precedents, customs, and Muslim law. Section 3, subsection 1 of the Civil Law Act 1956 provides that English common law and equity, statute of general application in Sabah and Sarawak only, will be applicable subject to 2 restrictions. Number 1, there should not be any local law governing that particular issue at hand. Number 2, the part of English law must be suitable and appropriate to the local customs and circumstances of the people of Malaysia. Courts have refused to apply English law in many areas, such as matters involving family law, on the ground that it is unsuitable to the local framework with its unique culture and religious variant. The next part that we will cover is the judicial decisions. Law can also be found in decisions of the courts of Malaysia. These decisions are made systematically and it is regulated by the doctrine of binding judicial precedent. There are two applications of the doctrine. Number one is the vertical application. Decisions of superior courts, such as federal court, bind courts below it in the hierarchy. Number two, horizontal application, where superior courts, such as Court of Appeal, bound by previous decisions. Customs are made for the local inhabitants and people of Malaysia, mostly customs relating to marriage, divorce, and inheritance are given legal force. For example, Adat Temenggung and Adat Berpatih. Judicial legal system in Malaysia. The courts have the power and authority to hear cases. The judicial power is vested in the superior and subordinate courts. Crime committed by the wrongdoer will be prosecuted in a criminal court, whereby the action is brought by the state. Child's court are court for young offenders of below 10 until below 18 years old. Any offences other than offences that are punishable with death penalty are accepted in this court. It is not open to public and is under the Malaysian Child Act 2001. Small Claims Court. The amount in dispute within the court must not exceed 5,000 ringgit. One does not need legal representation and cases are heard by the first-class magistrate. Magistrates Court. For civil cases, the amount in dispute must not exceed 25,000 ringgit. Family matters are eligible, for example, recovery of immovable property or rent. For criminal cases, all offences are within maximum period of imprisonment of 10 years, and no murder or offences that carry death penalty will be conducted in the magistrate's court. Example of cases are robbery, housebreaking, and theft. Sessions Court. In civil cases, the amount in dispute must not exceed 2,500,000 ringgit. For example, running down cases, landlord, tenant and distress. For criminal cases, all offences are accepted except for the ones with death penalty. Sessions Court has no power to appeal but has supervisory power over magistrate courts. The High Court. The High Court hear more severe civil cases. For criminal cases, the High Court hear cases which carry death penalty. Court of Appeal is an appellate court created in 1994. It is the second highest court in the hierarchy, headed by the President of the Court of Appeal, who is under the most important person in the judiciary system, the Chief Justice of Malaysia. No appeal which subject matter with less than 250,000 ringgit except with leave from Court of Appeal. Federal Court is the highest judicial authority in Malaysia. It is established under Article 121, Section 2 of the Federal Constitution. Its decisions bind all the courts of the judicial system. Federal Court hears civil and criminal decisions of the Court of Appeal. We have covered the basics of Malaysian legal system. We hope that this will help you with your studies. Thank you for watching.